Hi, welcome to section 1 of the shoe course. This course is designed to give you a brief overview of all the different types of footwear there are out there. There's a lot of different options to choose from. Choosing the right pair of shoes really comes down to a lot of deciding factors, most of which will be unique to you as an individual. This course was all about the history of the athletic shoe, how it came about, how far we've come, and how far shoe manufacturers have come to try to create the most comfortable, affordable, and high-performance footwear that we can. Okay, now we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at some of the different types of shoes that may be available to you. Most of these are going to be some running shoes. We're going to look at some shoes with a little bit more stability, and mostly neutral shoes and running shoes. We do have some fitness related shoes. We'll kind of get into that in a second. So these are my newest pair of shoes, and I picked those first because they look the best. First of all, before we get too deep into demonstrating any of these shoes, we have a lot of different brands, a lot of different styles. None of these were given to us. We've bought all these shoes. We've run in them. We've put some miles on them. We've tested them. We like them. We don't like them. And we're going to be brutally honest about a few things here. So this is made by New Balance. This is the Fresh Foam Zonti, and this is my most recent shoe. It's got a few miles on it here. This is a good example of a neutral shoe. It's got a relatively flat midsole. We'll talk about the heel-toe differential in section 2, but we also have a lot of cushioning here. So you'll see the difference in some of the other running shoes, which have the same heel-toe offset, but the amount of cushioning properties is different. So just kind of going through the shoe here, we're a little bit more narrow through the midfoot, which you can see might be problematic here. There's a little dirty spot right here where the foot could possibly be spilling over the side. We have a single piece outsole, which is the bottom of the shoe here. We have a very smooth upper and a lot of really soft upper mesh here, a few overlays here for some added stability, and a relatively soft heel counter in the back. So another one of my most recent running shoes made by a company called Innovate. Innovate makes shoes for pretty experienced runners. There's not a whole lot to them. They could be considered a minimalist shoe. This shoe also has a 6mm heel-toe differential here. You can see that we are narrow through the toe box. A little bit of a curved last here. We'll talk about that in later chapters too. A lot of flex in this shoe, but still a lot of stability through the midfoot. Another example of a running shoe. This is also made by Innovate. This one has a lot of miles on it, and it is very, very flexible. Not a whole lot to it. It has a 3mm heel-toe differential. Has a pretty wide toe box here, but also pretty narrow right through the middle of the foot right here. And we'll see another version of this shoe up close and personal pretty soon. As far as running shoes go, those are my collection here. This is a good example of a female shoe. This is my wife's shoe made by Under Armour. We can see that there are a few differences here, and this shoe is made for more stability. It's still not a motion control shoe per se, but it is made for mild to moderate overpronation, which means for people that collapse in here. We also have a kind of a midsole, outsole, one piece kind of all meshed in together, but there's no plastic on the bottom, which is good. We have a little bit of flex, but it's a little bit stiffer through the midfoot, and we have some pretty stiff overlays which keep the foot stable this way. And we'll talk a little bit more about this when we get into the stability properties of shoes. Choosing the right shoe for the right activity is very, very important. So the differences are, and we have a few shoes here which are classified as fitness-related shoes. We have 2 by Reebok on the outsides here, and we have 1 by Innovate in the middle. The difference between a fitness shoe and a running shoe, although they look similar, is that for the most part, fitness shoes will have a very, very wide, stable base. So this is also a single piece here. It's flexible through the forefoot front of the shoe, but it's very, very stiff in the mid part of the shoe. The midsole is very stiff, and it's designed to keep the foot stable during lifting. The difference between the Reebok Nano 2.0 and the Reebok Nano 4.0 is that we have a little bit of a more, I guess, over-engineered cage here to protect from rope climbs and so forth. Inov-8 also has a shoe that was branded more as a fitness-related shoe. Has a nice wide toe box, very stable, but just like the other Inov-8s, it's very, very flexible, even though it's got some added protection for the rope here. So in this shoe course, we're going to be talking primarily about running shoes. We're not going to talk about fitness-related shoes as much. We're going to talk about the differences in the few running shoes that we have. So keep watching, and we'll explain in more detail. In section 2, we'll talk about the anatomy of the shoe. We'll go into what the stack heights mean and so forth. So look forward to it.